Good evening, everyone. I am working on a cute Christmas Everywhere kit that you can get in your online. Comes with all these different Christmas trees. I've stamped some. Let me show you what it comes with. It comes with, I'm going to close my ink. Comes with a cute stamp set with all different Christmas trees, different wishes, okay, that you can use there. You'll have 9 cards to make. You'll have different Christmas trees that you can put down. If you have, I'm doing this one as a warm wishes and having a palm tree there, but you can have Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas, and I was going to put this right on here, and I just make these while these are so easy to make that while I'm waiting for the time of my class, that I go ahead and I don't want to waste any time, and I make these nice easy cards so that I have more Christmas cards. Hi, Erica. We are going to make 2 really fun fall cards and a Christmas card tonight. I'll show you how to make those with things from our new catalog and a few things from our older. Hi, Fran. Long time no see. Hope you've been getting some stamping done. And I did warm wishes because, you know, of the palm tree. And then they have their own matching envelopes. So in this kit, you get 9 cards. You get some red bases, some green bases, and some really cool, pretty peacock bases, right? You get matching envelopes. You get all these cutouts of different trees that you can put on your cards. Cactus, palm trees, your choice. You get these to stamp on with the stamp set that I showed you. Those go on your cards. There's your envelopes. And there's even more trees. And then you have your little labels that you stamp on. You get your own little Lost Lagoon ink. You get your own package of these wonderful dimensionals. And then you get, of course, instructions. So the package will come for instructions. See how cute those are? And then they'll show you step by step what to stamp, how to put it together. And then on the very back, sometimes they'll give you links to alternatives. Okay. And this is just a cute kit that you can order, makes it easy. You made a bunch of thank you cards today. That's good. All right, so let me get this wonderful kit out of my way. I've already made 2 cards in like 2 minutes. How cute are those, right? And so that's one kit that you can order. Here is the host code right up here. Oh, sorry. I didn't shut off my... I always forget one thing when I go live. I forgot to shut off my phone. Silence it. All right, so host code is right here. Use this host code when you purchase things online and you get put in for a drawing with me. Here is my Stampin' Up website if you want to shop with me. There's a lot of things online that are not in the catalog, and I'm going to go over 5 different papers that are available online that they just came out with, that are what we call our online exclusive, and they're not available in the catalog. If your order is above 150, don't bother using the host code. You'll get your own host rewards, but you'll still be put in my reward for a drawing. Yeah, so that kit might be up your alley, just like the tag kit was. So this is also Paper Pumpkin. Paper Pumpkin is easier. I'm going to back up. And we have different ones. Our next Paper Pumpkin is called Home for the Holidays. So it is going to be, they are also going to be Christmas cards. But this is last month's Paper Pumpkin that we just get on September 10th. That you had to sign up by September 10th. This is just to give you an idea what's in them sometimes. You get a stamp set. this beautiful floral stamp set with different sayings. A Lost Lagoon happens to be the same as the kit, which in Paper Pumpkin, when you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, you don't, for a year, you won't get the same ink color, so you can build your inks. These are cute little gift boxes that you get with this, and little note cards. Looks like there's 8 of each, 8 note cards in 8 boxes, and this one's called With Love and Gratitude. Isn't it pretty? All right, and it comes in a cute little box. All right, so we'll put that away for another day. So that's Paper Pumpkin. If you want to subscribe to that, again, go to my website. There will be a link for Paper Pumpkin, and if you have any issues, just give me a call. So let me show you the 5 papers that are on sale. They're for sale, online only. The first one, you may say, well, I have glitter paper, but let me tell you what's special about this glitter paper. This is the silver and gold adhesive backed paper. So what's special about this paper is it doesn't come off. There's no glitter. Like, you can cut things, whatever. It doesn't leave any glitter, okay? You get a piece of silver and a piece of gold, and it's adhesive back. So when you cut something out of it, it'll already have a sticker. You can just glue it on. You don't have to worry about having glue and being fussy with it. So that is one thing that is online that you can order. The next one is called Shining Christmas, and it's a very shiny paper. Sorry about the opening. Just got these this week. They just became available, I think, September 6th. And this is a shinier paper than we usually have, and that's why it's called Shiny Christmas. And it's got reflections and reds, and you got your Christmas tree, and on the other side you have a nice red print. Okay, so nice Christmas colors, shiny gifts on one side, and a nice red print on the other, red and white. So if you're looking for classic Christmas colors with a little bit of shine, look at those. Very cool, right? Love this paper. Here comes my favorite sheet in this pack, and that's the Argyle. Don't know why, but I love it. And then on the other side, really cute Christmas decorations. And in this pack of 5 papers that I'm going to show you, there's one for everyone, I can tell you that. Look at that holly. Hi, Karen. And then the dot would be the other side. And then we have the shining candy cane. And then the opposite side, just a cute, nice red and white. All right, so that's Shiny Christmas. And then we have tartan foil, which is probably my favorite. Let me get that. I might hear a kaboom. I've already cut it, so you know it's probably my favorite. And this has the colors of fall. We have our copper clay. Isn't that pretty? And then on the other side you have like that check there. And then we also have the Lost Lagoon and that check. And then our last one, I think, is Pebbled Path. And then again, that check. So that's the tartan foil. Very fall, beautiful colors. Love this paper. And then we have another Christmas one, which is called Traditions St. Nicholas, I think it's called. Traditions of St. Nick. It's 12 by 12. Kind of coordinates with our vintage Santa Claus set in the main catalog. So this one has many vintage kind of papers. So if you look, you have a nice, beautiful red, almost damask pattern. And then here you have cute little gingerbread holiday food a really cool damask there. And then look, and then mailboxes and letters. Reminds me of that. Yes. Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. And look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful kind of vintage paper. Love that. With the red and the Christmas scene and the fireplace. To die for. Right? Beautiful Christmas patterns. Holly leaves. Look at that one. Like, this doesn't have to be Christmas, but it's beautiful. So a lot of these you can always use for something else. Look at the stockings. But on the back side of the stocking, look at that. It's just beautiful paper. All right, so that is Traditions of St. Nick. And then the last one they have is not Christmas at all. It's not holiday. It matches our stamp set called Translucent Florals. So it's nice floral paper. Let me get it out of the plastic so there's no glare. Right? And look at how beautiful that is. With those bright colors. So if you're still loving bright colors, which I do, and then you have this nice wash on the other side. Look at these greens. With that nice pretty peacock wash. Look how pretty this is. Nice tighter flower pattern. Beautiful coral color wash. These are just gorgeous. I just got the stamp set too, and this nice bubblegum pink. No, it's not bubblegum pink, bubble bath pink. And then these leaves. Okay, nice soft sea foam. Beautiful floral paper, but on the back is a nice wash. So if you just want washes, great. If you want florals, great. If you want to mix and match, which I often do, there are those. So those are the new online papers. So as far as our cards today, let me show you what we're using in the catalog, where to find them, and then we'll get on with our making. I'm going to pull you back a little bit more. Sorry. All right. I hope everyone had a great Saturday. I had a friend visit. It was a wonderful Saturday. So in your main catalog, in your annual catalog, May 2023 to April 2024, on page 127, this is our area of specialty papers, and we're going to be using the holographic paper trio. We're going to be using one here to make some stars on a Christmas card, and they're perfect. It's perfect for it. Then we are going to, on page 140, we're going to be using these beautiful iridescent pearls. They're actually called Iridescent Pearl Basic Jewels. So those, page 140. The most of what we're using is in the main catalog, but we are using some ribbon here. Page 143, we're using this 3/4 inch hemmingbone ribbon, and I'm going to show you some really cool stuff with ribbon today, how to distress your ribbon, cut it up, make it yours. And of course, we're going to be using our deckled rectangles. They are a must-have on page 163 for die cutting. Now, in your mini catalog that goes from September to December 2023, this is what we are using tonight. Oh boy. So we've already used it, but I have to use it again because it is an amazing suite. It's amazing paper. We are going to be using the Stars at Night bundle. We're going to be using the folder that coordinates with the dies, and that's on page 15 of the mini catalog. We're also going to be using this wonderful Oh Holy Night 12 by 12 paper. Okay, then in addition to that, on page 43, we are going to be using the oxidized copper paper. which comes in a pretty peacock color with oxidized copper on it. And then it also has copper with copper on it. So you can pick and choose. This 6x6 that we've already used, I couldn't get away from it. I loved it. We're going to be using some of that paper tonight. It's the All About Autumn 6x6 paper. We're going to be using these wonderful jewels up here, the adhesive back speckled dots. We're going to be using this fabulous natural ribbon. We've used the copper ribbon on some. Now I'm going to use the natural ribbon. Okay. Hi, Joanne. We have a good house tonight. Good house full of people. On page 47, I can't get away from using these masks. So we've used the snowflakes. We used the leaves. We haven't used the houndstooth yet, but we're going to be using this one right here. There's 4 pieces to it, and I'm going to show you how to use that to make a sunflower. And watch different videos because there's 100 different ways to make these sunflowers, and they are so much fun. I'm going to bring you down here. So on page 47, we're also going to be using this wonderful set that is So Sincere. It has a lot of different sayings that you would use on a daily basis. We're going to use the So Thankful for you. But look, you have a vertical happy birthday. How many times do you just need like a little happy birthday, but you want it vertical or something vertical on a card? So that's a nice set to have. And lastly, we are going to be using the Pick of the Pumpkin Patch bundle. Now, this bundle may fool some of you because it looks cutesy. I'm going to show you a fancy way to use this bundle with the punch. So there's pumpkins. Even this is fancy, right? You don't see, you look at the set, you think it's cute. It's got jack-o'-lanterns and good for Halloween. But look how pretty that is, you know? So we're going to be using this for a little bit fancier card. And that's on page 51. All right. Well, why don't we start out with that card since we are here. So this is that stamp set I just showed you, right? You wouldn't think it would be this pretty. I think you can make cute cards out of that stamp set. You can make pretty cards out of that stamp set. So this is card number 1. And all the stamping is done from that one stamp set. And let me show you how to do that. The color might be a little off on my phone, but this is Petal Pink. Okay, so we're going to take Petal Pink as a base. Okay, and we're going to put it down. And then you're going to use your bone folder. I'm going to try and grab my, oh, I got my clean one. It's going to be a good night. I found my clean bone folder right away. If you stamped with me before, you know I have clean bone folders and I have dirty bone folders. And look at that copper paper on that Petal Pink. Now, you could use this copper paper on anything. And then the other paper that comes with this is a pretty peacock, a green with the copper. You could use that too. But I'm going to lay that down, okay? And I'm just going to use some adhesive. That's all it takes. You might notice occasionally an Augie hair gets on my projects because he likes to come in my stamp room. He was in my stamp room most of the day. And there we go there. Okay. So you already have your base of your card. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of Whisper White. I'm sorry, I always call it Whisper White, Basic White. You're going to run it through with your triangle deckled edge. I save you guys some pain of watching me big shot everything. I big shot some things ahead. But look at how cool that deckled edge is, right? So that's going to be our base of our scene. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this branch here and we're going to emboss it with copper. And so to do that, we take our embossing buddy, we get rid of the static on the paper, we take our Versamark, okay, and you ink up your branch, and then get rid of your Augie hairs, And then we go one here. You can put them wherever you want. And then one kind of like there. Okay. And now I'm going to put some copper embossing powder on this. Copper is in our metallics collection of embossing powder and the back of our annual catalog. And I keep mine in Tupperware because I just find it easier to use, especially the colors I use frequently, like copper and gold and silver and white. White I probably use the most, probably gold the second most. And then after that, I don't know, black or silver. But there's really cool, great stuff. Love embossing. Okay. So get that powder on there and we're going to heat it. And we have an embossing tool that has two heating elements to it. It has basically, it has two settings. The first one is to dry. The second one is to heat the embossing powder. And if you can see how it turns a metallic color. It's quite bright in my cracker. You see how it turns that metallic color? There you go. Oh boy, just like that. Isn't that beautiful? And so now we have this cute little metallic branch for the background of our pumpkins. And now what you're gonna do, and you could change the colors to this if you don't like the pinks. You can make it fall colors. You could do oranges and yellows, but I liked the pretty pink. So we take our petal pink, and there's a little stamp that has 3 different leaves, and we're going to stamp that all around here. Make sure you ink it up really well, and just keep alternating so it doesn't look like it's the same stamp, just different positions, farther away. Let's see. Oh, and I got some ink. You probably won't see most of that. And I'm going to put that there just because I made a mistake. And so now I have my leaves all around. Isn't that pretty? All right. So we have our petal pink. And then we're going to put our ribbon. So this ribbon, you might say, well, this ribbon looks thicker than this ribbon, and it is. So when you want a smaller ribbon and you want it distressed, you make your own size of ribbon. So I'm into distressing ribbon tonight, and so what I did is I just cut up the middle of this beautiful ribbon. Is that enough? Yep, that's enough. All right, and I'm going to use both pieces. Okay, and fray them. We want them all distressed. But the first one, I'm going to lay down like this and wrap it around. All right. And what's nice about white ribbon like this, you can color it with your blends if you want it to be a different color. And so I'm just going to tie a knot like that. And you can see the strings are starting to come out. It's beautiful. I love it when it's distressed. Now you can have fancy ribbon that you don't distress, but I actually pull it apart a little. I'm going to cut off some of those edges, you know, get it distressed and pull it apart. And then, do I like it? And then I look and I say, do I like it? Yep, I like it. And now I'm going to put it on my card like that. Okay. I know people are afraid sometimes to distress their ribbon or mess up their ribbon. I think it looks good distressed. All right, so I'm going to put that down. And you can see what we're building here. Isn't that pretty? And next, oh boy. So we have this fabulous punch that punches out, sorry about the shine, 2 pumpkins, a little leaf, and the stalk for the pumpkin. When you have this many, I usually punch out first and then stamp. So I did that. Okay, so I punched out. All right, and I got all my pieces together. I didn't use my stalk. You can use your stalk. I didn't. And then what I did was I took my stamp for this one that matches it perfectly, and I Versamarked it. And basically did my embossing buddy. I'll do one of these, and the other ones I already have pre-done, so you don't have to wait through them all. I ink it. And now this is a little tight. So some people might want to punch after, but because this is a little tight, and I just went over it, and I pushed down, right? And now the whole thing is going to be covered with Versamark. Okay, so you got to be careful and not touch anything but the edge. And we're going to put that in white embossing powder. All right, I don't know if I'm still getting comments. Are you guys still with me? All right, and then we're going to put the white embossing powder on there. Do you guys like this color scheme, or would you like to see it in a different color scheme? Karen's still here. Karen is my ride or die. And Joanne's here. Yep, everyone's still there. All right. And so now that I have all that embossing powder on it, I can't really pick it up because I'll hit the embossing powder. So what I do is I take my tool, and right where there's no embossing powder, I'm going to hold it down with just the tip of that. And then I'm going to heat it, because otherwise you're going to smudge your embossing powder, and you don't want to do that, right? You like it? Good. Wait till you see the next one. The next one's really fun. If I could just play with cards all day, I would. Beautiful, beautiful. Fran, PM me afterwards. I have something that I want to tell you personally about a friend, something that happened to a friend of ours. So see how we have this cute little pumpkin, the white on the petal pink? But you could do that with oranges or any colors, really. Just pick your color scheme, and then I'm going to pop that up with dimensionals. Okay, and then that one's going to be tucked right there. Okay, and through the magic of TV, I already have the smaller one done. All right, so I have the smaller one done, and then I also have a leaf that I did in copper. Okay, so the little copper leaf, I'll put a dimensional on the back of that, but I'm going to tuck that one in just behind here, like that. And then this pumpkin, and then if you wanted to, there's gourds and all kinds of different pumpkins in the set. Like, you can cut out as many as you want, put as many leaves or things that you want. But this could be used, this is one of those versatile sets that can be used as cutesy or fancy. All right, so we got that done so far. Get some stuff out of the way. We don't need the punch anymore. Okay, now we're almost done. And this was our first card. Nice and easy. So I took a strip of 1/2 inch of the petal pink, and we're going to put our saying on there. And now there's all different kinds of sayings you can put, but I put a harvest of blessings. You're the pick of the patch. Happy Halloween, cutie pie. Thanks so much. So there's different ones that you can put. And so again, Embossing Buddy saves us from messy stamping, inking, Versamark. Yeah. All right. And now this one, there's not going to be much to hold. Let's see, I use a clothespin. Now, see how clothespin will keep your fingers away from everything? And this one, again, we're going to do in our copper. So a lot of embossing, but embossing's fun. A lot embossing makes things look good. I'm all about embossing. Embossing's good for card making. Okay, and there we have that. Kind of off screen, aren't I? Why don't I do that? Is that better? That might be better. Might be tilted too much. Is that better, guys? That's better. All right, and now we're going to heat this. And it was a really beautiful fall day. We actually went and had lunch in Sackett's on the water with a friend of mine. And then we came back and we stamped for a little bit. Had a great day of catching up. All right, and now I'm going to just flip this over, and I'm going to put some dimensionals on this. Now, these are dimensionals that are from my kit, but that's okay because you can never have too many dimensionals. And we have white and black, depending on what color cardstock you're doing. So a darker cardstocks, you can use the black so the white doesn't show through. And I just put it across like that. How cute. How cute. And then to finish it off, these really pretty iridescent pearls. So we're going to use a whole bunch of those. And our pool's still open. We're still swimming. We don't want to let summer go, you know? It's hard to let summer go. But eventually you have to, right? Gotta face up to the fact that autumn is coming. Colder nights. And there's your first card. Isn't that cute? So easy. Yeah, that's a fancy clothespin. I wouldn't just have regular clothespins in my craft room. You can actually make fancy clothespins by just putting designer series paper on them and a little glue. All right, so that is card number 1. Card number 2, I use a sticky mat for card number 2. Look at that ribbon. Don't you love that ribbon? We're going to be using that sunflower mask, that really pretty paper in the background. Okay, so this is number 2. That copper clay background is what we're using. And again, it's cut at 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. Oh, I better introduce myself in case you don't know who I am. I forget to introduce myself at the beginning of the class because it used to be a private class, but now I am posting on YouTube. So I'm Rory Sears. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you want to join my team, let me know. But anyways, I'm more into getting these cards done and sharing ideas with you. So this paper was hard to cut. It's in that fabulous 6x6 set, but look how pretty and distressed it is already. But the other side is this beautiful, isn't that gorgeous, picturesque fall day. So we are going to lay that down. Lay it all down. And you can imagine if you start with this as a base, what other things you could easily do. Yeah, use it as long as you can. Then you're going to have a piece of basic white. And this basic white is cut to, excuse me, 5 by 3 3/4. And this is where I use stuff that's not available at Stampin' Up. But it helps my job. So whatever you need to do to secure your paper, I use what they call a sticky mat. And I can tell you where I get this. So basically a sticky mat holds the paper in place so the paper doesn't move. See how the paper doesn't move? It also holds your stencils in place. So I'm putting my piece of paper down, and we have these really cool stencils. There's 4 of them. They're like builder stencils. So you do different layers, okay? And so this is layer number 1. On the top corner, there'll be a number 1 with a little gouge. And now you know that that gouge is where you line everything up each time, as long as it's flipped the correct direction. So we are going to put our mask down, okay? If you want to, you can then put a piece of tape at the top to know where you put your mask in relation to your paper. But see, this, because this is a sticky mat, I can do this and my mask won't move. So the first colors I started out with, I wanted a gradient of color. So I started out with crushed curry, which is a yellow. And I took one of our small brushes. This is our blending brush. And I pick up the crushed curry with the ink, just like this. Okay. And then I kind of brush it off over here. Get a little bit off so you don't get a heavy ink. Hi, Charlotte. Your baby is adorable. I saw pictures of her with pigtails, with pumpkins and pigtails. And so I'm going around the edges with this crushed curry color. Okay. And around the edges. It's okay if you get a little more in, a little darker colors in area. That's how nature is. And where you want to put your orange, or what we're going to use next, the Cajun, will blend into that orange. I'm not live on YouTube right now. What I do is I post, as long as things go fairly well, I'll post it on YouTube. So I'll post the recorded video on YouTube, Joanne. So next we're going to use Cajun Craze. And I wish I had I'm going to try a smaller brush for that too. I'm going to pick that up, tap it off a little, and then go towards the center a little bit more and bleed that in. All right, so that it's darker in the center of the flower. Just make sure it doesn't look so sharp. And others can have more orange than the others. Okay. Yeah, some people are very talented and they can go live on 2 different videos and they can switch screens and show you advertisements and different things. That's not me yet. I haven't invested the time to learn those things. Too busy with my regular job. So I'm going to peel layer 1 up, right? And there I have the start of some of my sunflowers. Gorgeous, right? So next step. So this one is number 2. I think this one could be left to the end. These are your leaves, okay? And I like to position them where I want them and kind of see where they fit in. And I like them there, okay? So notice my check mark is up there in the left-hand corner, okay? And for this one, I'm using Mossy Meadow. You can use any green you want. Yeah, there are other demonstrators that spend a lot of time at this stuff, not me. I just do it for fun. And That one was heavier than my sample, so I'll try and go a little lighter, but I just do it for fun. And you guys like to see the videos and how to do things. All right, and so make these as dark or as light as you want. You could have done the same thing, like lighter in some areas, darker in some areas. I wasn't really focusing on the leaves, so I didn't spend too much time on them. All right, and so we have the leaves done. And now we're going to work on the center. Look how cool that is already. So copper clay brings back in the base color of the cardstock that we used. So that is my next layer. And if you look, it says number 3. So this is going to color in the centers of our sunflowers. So make sure those are lined up where you want them to be, as good as you can. All right. I like it there. I think that looks good. I'll use this one looks like copper clay to me. Pick that up, tap it off, and then we're going to fill those in. Fill that in there. And fill that in there. Oh, but there's more steps. So don't you worry. I'm going to make these a little bit darker than I made my sample card. All right. Then peel that up. Sunflowers are starting to look good. Now you can leave them like that if you like that look, or you can put more detail, and that's number 4 in the centers. Okay, so we're going to move these where you think they should go. Okay. I think I like that. Maybe. It's not hard to line them up. But I found that I kind of wanted, I'm going to make this one look a little bit different than the sample. I kind of wanted them a little more in the center than they were. Because these are off towards the edge a little bit, and I want to try and bring them down. But these are still. So now I'm going to take my early espresso ink, which is a much darker brown. That's our darkest brown color. And I'm going to use another blending brush for that. And basically you're just layering, creating interest, right? And we'll see how that looks. All right. Oh, beautiful. Oh, yeah. I like that. So now you have your sunflowers. Pretty, right? So we have our sunflowers. So that's going to be the base of our card. Move off our sticky pad. And then we're going to stamp right on there. So thankful for you. And don't forget that you can cut the edges of your stamps if they have extra rubber here, because that extra rubber can pick up ink and then ruin everything you just did. So I took my early espresso ink and I just ink that up, stamp right in the center. So thankful for you. It's a little odd to do while you're on camera, because the camera sits right over where you stamp. Isn't that pretty? And you could just stop your card right there, right? That is just very pretty. But we're going to do something really cool. So we're going to take some of this ribbon, all right, and we're going to take a pretty decent size piece, a little bit more than what you would think you would need, okay? And now we're going to distress it and scrunch it. All right, and so we're going to take on both ends, take some apart here, and then I'm going to take a couple of just the middle strands here, and I'm going to pull and see how that starts to pucker that, and I'm going to keep moving that pucker down, right? And then it makes the ribbon pucker, and so you have to keep moving it down, and then when you get about halfway you got to go from the other end. Okay, so keep moving that down. Very cool, right? And so you start to get ribbon that looks like that. Okay, and then so do the same here. Brush away some of these, grab the middle, and start puckering and moving and puckering and moving, puckering and moving it down. And that is just so cool, right? And then you get this really great ribbon to put on across the bottom. Yeah, you learned that you can play with your ribbon, cut it apart, distress it, make it pucker. I love playing with ribbon. If you haven't noticed on my cards, I usually have ribbon on my cards. Sometimes I have two different ribbons together. Yeah. And then the key, you're like, well, how are you going to hold that down? So I'm going to cut off one edge here, and I'm going to cut off the longer, just the longer strings. And how we're going to hold that down is we're going to take a piece of our tear and tape. Now, tear and tape is this wonderful invention. You just basically put the tape where you want it, and you tear when you're done with it, and you just tear. It tears really easy, right? And then you just lift up like this, and it leaves a sticky strip right across here. And then you just figure out how you want to lay your ribbon. I think I want my ribbon like this and like that, and maybe twist it and do that and do that, and then stick it down, and then it's stuck down. So cool. Isn't that awesome? Right? It makes it look so cool. And then you can just either tuck over the edges like that, so they, so they don't fray anymore, or you can cut the edges like I did on mine, and I cut it here, so it just wasn't hanging off the card, and cut it here. Right? Cute, cute, cute. And the stickiness of that tear and tape behind there will keep that ribbon in place. All right, we are almost done. Oh, last thing. When I put this against here, I was like, ooh, that's like a bright white. So I said, I need to distress it a little more. So I took my early espresso brush and I went over the edges. And I just put some character on the edges of the cardstock, even where there's some ink. And you can put this down and go like this on the edges too if you want. And then that helps to give it a little more, less, so you're less bright on your edges. Not so stark white against that darker copper clay. Right? Right. I say right a lot. And my dog is a little upset because I'm not paying attention to him right now. So you might hear him making a little noise, but that's okay. My poor little Augie. I've been playing with him all day. So then we're going to put that down and see how that's not as bright white anymore. Beautiful, right? And so we have this. Last finishing touches for this card is these beautiful, beautiful speckled. So they're speckled. Can you see that? So we have like a green mauve a beige, and then the copper clay is on the end. And we're going to use the copper clay to tie it back into the card base. Okay, so we'll use kind of one there, a smaller one up here, and then probably just a smaller one. Ooh, should be using my pick-me-up tool. Maybe right there. And then we're done with card number 2. Hope you guys like that one. That one's fun. Pick up all my blends. If you guys don't have these, they are just too much fun not to have your blending brushes. I'm just telling you. Too much fun not to have blending brushes. All right. The last one is our Christmas card, because you got to keep up on your Christmas cards, because Christmas cards, if you're like me, you send out a lot. And you need to keep making them and making them and making them. And if you're done making them, then start making them for next year. All right. So this is the one we're going to make tonight. It's called Celebrating the Magic of the Season. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, they are just like makeup brushes. Just like makeup brushes. And so basically we're putting makeup on our cards. So I took a Night of Navy base. In fact, I know stampers that use the makeup brushes instead of the blending brushes. And I actually, when I first started using these years ago, Stampin' Up! Didn't have them, and I would get makeup brushes to use. So they're very similar, Erica. So Night of Navy, this time cut at 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. All right, and so you take your base, and what you're going to do with your base is we're going to emboss right on our base. And so you're going to use your embossing buddy, but we're only going to kind of hit around the edges. And in this stamp set, which is called Stars at Night, there's all these beautiful star images. This beautiful Merry Christmas. I'm going to take this stamp here, okay, and this stamp here, and we're going to stamp around the edges and create some white on blue. Who doesn't love white on blue, right? In fact, I think that's when I fell in love with stamping, was white on blue. I did a white on blue Christmas card, and then I was done for. Then I was sold. All right, so we're going to take our Versamark, and I'm going to take our stamp and go around here. These are acrylic stamps, and I'm going to change levels. If you see what I'm doing, like some are closer to the edge, some are farther away from the edge, because all you're going to do is see the edge, so you want the edge to vary. Okay. So I'm going to go off the page a little bit there, and then on the page a little more there. And actually, why don't we just use one stamp? Because I think that'll be just fine. Okay. And that's why we use the other. The other one's smaller. It can reach in smaller places. And then we're going to use Versamark there. And then we're going to use our white embossing powder. Everyone seeing everything? Are you too close? Sometimes I have you too close. Sometimes I look, I'm like, did you even see anything I showed you? I keep trying to improve, so if you can't see something, give me a holler. All right. Give me a holler. And look at how pretty that is. I'm just going to give a big flick, get all the extra powder off. Need a little more powder in that corner. Look how pretty that is. That's just one stamp on your blue. Come on. How pretty is that? All right. Now we're going to heat the whole thing. So when you heat it, you want to hold where, you know, there isn't. If you're very particular, you can have a brush next to your, you know, embossing area, and you can take off areas where you don't want as much powder. But I tend to just, with something like this, just go with it. And then now see how that area doesn't have enough powder on it? I'm going to go back and add a little bit more. Right on there, and see if some of it sticks. It could have been, oh, see, beautiful. Could have been my stamping, but no. You would be finished at this time. That's okay. It's still a pretty card, isn't it? You could put just a saying right in the middle, right? But it's fun. It's not like, for me, it's not tedious. It's not work. It's having fun. So I don't mind a little extra work as long as it's fun. It's a little extra fun, I guess. So we're going to heat. And if you don't want to use embossing powder, you can use white craft ink instead on your Night of Navy. You know? This is just so much fun. I love just playing with stuff, seeing what we can do. Look at all these little stars. And so I've been using a lot of embossing. I think if you don't have an embosser and you stamp, it's probably the next thing you should get. Yeah. It's not hard to do. I was intimidated the first time I tried it many years ago, but it's very easy. It's very forgiving. You basically stamp with sticky stuff and you put powder on it and heat it. It's not hard. Just when you have this much on here, you got to make sure you hit everything, or else it will just slide away in powder. Okay? So there we go. So there's our base. Isn't that a beautiful base? Look at that. Isn't that pretty? That is just very pretty. Yeah, if you wanted to, you know what would be pretty? You just take a Merry Christmas and you put it in gold and emboss it in gold and your card's done, right? That is just one stamp that you stamped all over again. You could do that with any star stamp, any snowflake stamp, but that's just our background. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this beautiful paper that Stampin' Up! Has, 12 by 12 paper, and we're going to actually put it there and cover up most of it, but we still see our stars on the edges, okay? And so it's like stars on stars, layer on layer. The more you layer, the prettier it looks. So it doesn't cost that much or take that much time to do that on top of what you've already done, right? Beautiful. Now you're going to see how easy it is to finish this card off. All right. So the next step is I took a piece of our holographic paper. Now this you're just going to see shine, right? Look at that beautiful paper. Then you are going to take your embossing folder that comes with it, okay, and the die from the set, okay, and we're going to first do this, okay, and let me show you how to set that up. So you are going to take your sheet, and you're going to take your sheet where you're going to get this big star in there, but don't worry because we'll get other stars in there. And you see what I'm doing here? Okay. And then on this side, where it's going to close down, this die fits right into there. So you can emboss and cut at the same time. So you close, right? And you're like, yep, that's what I want. I want the big one there. I got some small ones I can cut out. So I'm going to send this through the embossing folder. So I'm going to, you see my Diet Mountain Dew. I needed that today. So I'm going to take you over the Stamp Emboss cut machine. So if you get seasick, avert your eyes for a second. All right, so we're at the Stamp Emboss cut machine. All right, we're going to put, you're on layer, you have layer 1 here, layer 2, clear plastic plate number 3, and clear plastic plate on top, okay? And then you just run it through. Nope, I did that wrong, because we're not die cutting. That's what you would do if you're die cutting. See, I thought you guys would stop me. So we're using a heavy embossing folder with our die cut. So you use it as it is a 3D embossing folder. And so you only use plate number 1 and plate number 4. So plate number 1, plate number 4, run it through. Always whatever is thickest, that's what you go with. All right. You ready for this? Are you ready for it? But are you ready for it? Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So now what's special about that is this is going to come out. Right? Isn't that awesome? Yes. Yes, you can do it on the Big Shot. You just have to put it, whatever you use for your 3D embossing folders, that's the setting you would use it on. This is similar to a Big Shot, yes. All right, so I did that, and I said, okay, now I have star here, I have a star I can put here, and a star I can put there coming off the page, but you know what? I want more stars. And I said, well, look at all this beautiful stuff here. Why don't I take the die set? Yeah, isn't that? And I said, well, I want this one. Did I want that one? Nope. Okay. I want this one, and I'm going to fit that right up there. I'm going to use my scrap because this is a big sheet, right? And I'm going to take this one, and look, it fits this star right there. And I'm going to take one of these, and I'm going to put them here. And I'm going to take one of these, and I'm going to put it, and so we have all these different stars that we can use. And look at this one. It's got 3. I'm going to just put it right there where that star is, and I'm going to take some off of there. I've got 1, 2, and just use up all your space, right? And use your scrap and get more stars. So whatever you can fit on there, fit on there. And now we're going back, and we're going to go back to our cut and emboss machine. So cut and emboss machine, level 1. This is where you use it. Level 2, because we're not going to use the embossing folder anymore. Plate 3, which is our messed up plate. Always keep that on the bottom. Plate. This plate, your clear plate, is your clean plate. That helps prevent bad stuff from getting on your good paper. And so then you're going to lift your scrap paper, which you thought was scrap paper, and you're going to put it on here, and you're going to cut all these out. And then you're going to have all these fancy ones that you're going to be able to add to your card. And so it's just going to be awesome to have this many choices of this many stars to place all over your card just from one sheet of your holographic paper, right? And so you're using it. You're making it work for you. And believe me, you want to use your holographic paper to your best because you only get so many sheets, right? And see, look at these. You get all these cute little stars that are coming out. Look at, and you can put those all over your paper. Okay, so here we go. We got one here, one here. Don't lose your dies. Put your dies away right away. Because if you don't, you will lose them. Okay, look at all the dies that come with that. Okay, so then we have a die here, and see how easy they come out? Look at that. And this one. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with those, because we're going to make them kind of 3D. And this one isn't coming out directly, so you're going to need your Polka tool. And this is a great tool to have. It picks up things. It's like a multi-purpose tool. It's great, great. And then we have this star, and I think we got most of them. And obviously there's more scrap if you want to do more. Okay, so we pick up our dies. Make sure we don't lose those. All right. And now we're ready to assemble our stars. Okay, so we are going to pop up our stars. So the main one is the big one, right? So we're going to take some, we're going to use some black dimensionals on this. So it's a darker card. We don't want to see any white popping through. Okay, so this is the one I want to put in the middle. I want to put it in the center. Okay, so almost to the top. Leave some room. That looks good, right? Right there. I know this one's an extra special star, right? So we want to put one of these popping up from it. So we're going to take one of our mini dimensionals, put it right on the back of that, and then we're going to add layer, add interest, and see how that makes it more 3D, more pop-up. How beautiful is that? All right, then we're going to take this one, and where it's cut off, because you had a certain paper, you know, you can make your paper bigger, but I only had a certain amount of paper, so where it's cut off, I'm making it meet that edge there. So again, dimensional on the back. You only need one. Meet the edges where you cut them off. Right? Beautiful. Same with this one. We're going to put that on the back there. And then that one's going to hit that edge right there. Good. Beautiful. You like so far? Now, this one is kind of special too, so we'll add a little more onto that. So I took this piece and I put that piece just like that and popped that up. Then I took a piece here, put a dimensional under that, said, oh, kind of need one up in this corner, right? Kind of need one maybe down here. Maybe I'll switch those. I'm going to put this one down here. I'm going to put this one up top because this one has a little cutoff on top. So I'm going to put that right to the top edge, like that. And then I have this little one. And I'm going to, and you just keep putting your stars in your sky. And see how that one is a little big? So just take that off and use a smaller one, or cut yourself a smaller one. As soon as I find my scissors. So we're going to cut ourselves a smaller one. So you can cut these in half. Okay. Good. Hi, Lori. And then we're going to put that one towards the top. Right there. Make sure I don't have, I think I have extra pieces sticking from it. For some reason, I'm having a little difficult with that one. But see how pretty that is? All right. So I think that might be enough stars. Of course, you can always add more. I have extras over here. So we have that so far. And then what I did is I took a thin strip of Night of Navy. Let me pull that. And I believe it's a 1/4 inch. Yep, 1/4 inch strip. Okay, of your Night of Navy. And I took this beautiful saying from the set. That says celebrating the magic of the season, and we're just going to use our embossing buddy, and we're going to use our Versamark. Okay, and then we're gonna, now this is where being on camera really stinks because it's hard to see over it. You might see part of me. All right, that looks pretty good. Might be a little crooked, but it's pretty good. And then we're going to emboss that. And the reason I left a big tail on that is so I can hold that. I use some white embossing powder. We'll back you up. All right, and then we'll pour some on there. See? And then we'll heat that up. Isn't that pretty? And then we're almost done with our 3rd card. Fabulous, right? So again, heating tool has 2 speeds. We're going to put it on number 2. Keep your fingers away from the heat. And you'll see the change, or should see the change from the dusty white to the more solid plasticky white. See, you start to see it there. And then you keep moving up until the whole thing is done. And this is where you really have to cut your dimensionals for this strip, right? But you can also get, there's different strips that you can get that are 3-dimensional strips for adhesive, and there. And I cut that like that. Isn't that beautiful? And we're going to put that on our card. And what I do is I take the edge of here of a already used pack of dimensionals. I just cut down, right? And now I have a strip of foam or dimensional that I can use on the back of this. Boom, boom. Do-doom, do-doom. Cut a little too much. Right? And then you just pull that off. And then there is your beautiful card. Beautiful card. And I thought with this much bling, you didn't need any more. But of course, you can always add more bling. But I think that is plenty of bling. All right. Any questions, concerns, please let me know. I hope you enjoyed the class. I hope you had a great weekend. Have a great tomorrow. Have a safe week. I will not be back next week. I have a conference in Saratoga next week. And I think the week after I'm on call, so it might be 3 weeks till I'm back, unfortunately. But I will try, if I have any other time between then, to come on and give you guys ideas. And remember to check out those new papers. And if you purchase any, use the host code, and then you'll be put in my drawing for free stuff. All right. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you. Bye.